Scientific disciplines in the Western world became really big with the Enlightenment, because what you had a perfect storm in modernity. We lost track of understanding something totally, so we went deep down the empirical rabbit hole, and we try to understand more and more. So for some, this is an argument that we actually had scientific disciplines because everything became so complicated. But scientific disciplines were also a sign of power. And with power, in this case, we can say colonialism, we can say liberalism, we can say all sorts of isms. So it was a ruling power where science was not only an accomplice, but a driver that actually moved us into an age where you had lots of scientific disciplines. So, and from this critical standpoint, we need to understand that scientific disciplines were a means to an end, first of colonialism, then capitalism, and then the growth-driven economy. But this has come to an end now. And we are now at a part of our history where it will be very difficult to grow further. Quite the contrary, we will have to degrow, we will have to spend less, and with Earth Overshoot Day just behind us, we see there's lots to be done, but it's definitely not growing the economy further. Quite the contrary, creating a bigger justice among the world and spending less and also wasting less are the things that we need to do. And in order to face all these problems, what you need is, well, some again could argue you need disciplines. But if you need them, and there might be technical solutions, there are definitely social and cultural solutions. So there are all sorts of things where a critical perspective is definitely needed, and that can also be a disciplinary perspective. But what's important to remember is none of those will be better than the other. So out of this necessity to degrow comes a necessity to end disciplines, in a sense, in terms of their ruling, in terms of them being obsessed with having the clearest picture and being better than any other discipline. And that's something that we need to consider. From a methodological standpoint, we understood this now deeply through critical realism and other philosophies of science. We know that a critical perspective is now important, and we know that we need to criticize society, the economy, and also the ecological problems we as humans created. So in order to reach solutions, disciplines are less necessary. And if they are necessary, only if they are capable to work together with other disciplines, because the wicked problems we face will not be solved by one discipline alone. So we need to be careful when we consider the future of disciplines, because we still want to educate people deeply. You will not have an orchestra only of conductors, but it's the conductors that we need, and it's also the orchestra that follows the conductors. Yet they also need to be critical. The Berlin Philharmonics were known to be very critical of their conductors, and that's important. And it pushed them to a really high level. So just as disciplines need to be aware of their role, and they need to be critical of their coordinators, conductors, and people who connect the dots, they still need to especially be critical about themselves. Otherwise, we might not be able to, as scientists, meaningfully contribute to the solutions we so direly need.